आचार्य वरखेडी आचार्यः किमपि वदन्तः आसन्।
Unmute him.
Unmuted him. Mask.
I think.
Post. Kalyani ji, can you please co-host Varkhedi Mahodaya?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
No.
I think there is an issue with. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Unmute. He should be unmuted.
Okay. Fine. आचार्य भवतां किञ्चित् अन्म्यूट् प्रायः भवति कर्तव्यमिति मन्ये। एवं
वदन्तु।
न श्रूयते भवतां ध्वनिः न आगच्छति आचार्य।
श्रूयते खलु?
इदानीं श्रूयते। एवम् ॐ शुक्लां वरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ऑडिबल आचार्य? एवं श्रूयते आचार्य, श्रूयते। Namaste and welcome to this online seminar on research methodology, emerging trends on research methodology, conducted by Siddhanta Knowledge Foundation in association with IKSHA, that is Indian Knowledge Systems and Heritage Association, and IKS Division of Ministry of Education. So today we have 4 wonderful speakers with us to share their views on different topics. And before we start their lectures, I would just like to request Sai Susarla Mahodaya to just brief in the set the context to this seminar.
Namaste. Are you able to hear me? Namaste Sarvebhya. Welcome to this very unique workshop on taking research methodology to the next level. I want to clarify a few things. This workshop, this seminar is not a tutorial on research methodology, but a step beyond that. It is addressed to answer 2 fundamental questions. What can Bharat contribute to research methods in general across the board? The second question, how do the prevailing methods of research apply when exploring Bharatiya knowledge systems? What are the issues that arise and what are the challenges? What are the limitations that we see when applying well-known Western research methods to research on Bharatiya knowledge. So we have a very eminent set of speakers who have immersed themselves and established their name in Bharatiya knowledge on the one hand and research on the other. It's very rare to get that combination, and we are fortunate to organize a series of talks by them to learn how to. This is especially for future researchers who want to explore Indian knowledge systems and also take some of the best practices that India can offer to research in general. Okay, with this, I would like to give it back to Srinivas, who will run the seminar series. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahodaya. So today, first we have Professor Shrinivas Varkhedi, sir. So he's a well-known scholar in the Sanskrit circles. Professor Shrinivas Varkhedi is currently Vice Chancellor of Central Sanskrit University, New Delhi, which is one of the largest institution for higher education in Sanskrit. And previously, he served as Vice Chancellor in Kavikulaguru Kalidas Sanskrit University, Ramtek, and Gondwana University in Gadchiroli from 2017 to 2022. And he was also the acting Vice Chancellor of Karnataka Sanskrit University. So this is just a brief introduction of Varkhedi sir. So I just don't want to waste time in introducing this thing. So I just want to request Varkhedi sir to kindly deliver his lecture on the topic towards an IKS-friendly research methodology. Over to you, sir. Mahodaya. Mahodaya. न श्रूयते आचार्य। आचार्य न श्रूयते आचार्य।
Hello, hope I'm audible.
Yeah, एवं श्रूयते आचार्य।
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarvebhyo Namo Namaha. At the outset, I thank Dr. Sai Sutherland Srinivas Shastri for organizing this first edition of the discussions on this IKS research methodology. Especially, we should discuss in detail. There are many aspects of research in IKS or research involving IKS rather. today we are beginning. I'm happy to be part of this entire enterprise.
Acharya, could you speak a bit louder?
Yes, dimensions of Indic research methodology. I'm sorry, somewhere I'm speaking from my vehicle. There may be some disturbance, but I hope you will continue to enjoy my. Okay. Yeah, I'm audible now.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. With this brief introduction, I would take up the certain questions like what is it research in terms of Sanskrit terminologies? In Sanskrit terminologies, we have many terms like shodha, shodhanam, and we have another term anusandhanam, anusandhatte. So anusandhan is another term. We have famous terms like mimamsa and jignasa. We have Brahma Vimamsa, Dharma Jignasa, Brahma Jignasa, Athato Dharma Vimamsa. So these two terms, Vimamsa and Jignasa, these two terms are very uh, terms that are used by many. Another term is Vichara, Anusandhanam Vichara. The term in Upanishads we come across Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasa. These three terms together we use. Hopefully, these are the terms that are used in traditions for research. I don't know whether research is the same or different, but we are very concerned with these terms because these terms explicitly explain how we should contemplate or discuss or understand research in our context. When we understand Shodha, when we try to understand what is Shodha, Shodhanam, many times people think that Shodha is search. But when we look at the dhatu of Shodha, it is Shuddhi, Shuddha. Shuddha means cleansing. The cleansing, the Shodhanam means cleansing, cleaning. Means that removing some unwanted dust from the wanted thing to clean, to clarify. Therefore, in one sense, we can see that gunebhya doshanam sakaram. So this the term cleansing in our in the sense of research is just to understand is distinct, to make distinctions. We need to understand how to make distinctions. Because if everything is coming together in our mind, we may not be able to get the clarity. In order to get the clarity, we have to make the distinctions. This is called Pruthakkaranam or Vivekam. So ultimately, Shodhanam is an activity that takes us to very clear distinction between the two things. So this is one way of understanding the objective of or outcome of the shodha or research. I will try to explain the other two terms, Mimamsa and Jignasa. As we know, this Mimamsa, Jignasa, these types of terms end with a peculiar pratyaya that is called san pratyaya, which um, denotes desire. That is desire to know. Jignasa means desire to know. Mimamsa means desire to measure. So ultimately, this measuring and knowing leads us to some knowledge. The vichara and vimarsha. When we desire to know something, we start to contemplate upon. We start to think about that idea. This thinking process, this contemplation leads to knowledge. So this, what sort of contemplation? What sort of thinking? Thinking does not mean just to think about it. As we think about somebody, as we remember someone, that is not real thinking. Thinking has certain process. Thinking has certain steps. When contemplation is conducted in a specific manner, then we may call that becomes vichara. That leads us to knowledge. So when we keeping all these terms together, when we try to understand the research methodology, what is it that is needed to understand the Indic research methodology? I would consider the classification when we want to understand the research methodology. We need to identify certain important factors that are involved in Indic research methodology. How would I see the universe? That is very important. See, the universe will be either static or dynamic. When we look at the world, for example, when I take an apple, I want to understand or define an apple. Apple is a static object. That is, it is already, it has reached certain shape, certain, it has certain nature. In order to understand an apple, I need not know very much. That can be understood with a clear terms. So when we try to identify or to understand a static word or a static object, it is with the definition we can understand. But when the word becomes dynamic, that means very complex ideas that are very much dynamic, they change the position. If an object which has got many parts and those parts have different functions and they don't have any specific position, instead they change their position, and structure of the object is continuously changing, then in order to capture the nature of the dynamic structure, we need to have different mechanisms. So in these different sorts of, sometimes we may come across dual nature. In some part of the nature, a world, universe that is it could be static and some part could be very dynamic. For example, if a human body is an object, then it is static body. It has got certain elements, and those elements are very clear, and we can define them. But in order to explain a concept called language or a specific language, we need, because language is a dynamic object, it keeps on changing. Therefore, in order to define the language, we may have different mechanisms. Therefore, in India, uh, from the beginning, ancient times, our ancient seers have understood the nature of the word, and accordingly, they have developed different sorts of mechanism to understand and to inquire into the nature of the word. With this background, I bring these different terms. For example, if a word, if an object is very specific and static, it does not change its nature, then you need to do anusandhana. Anusandhana means repeatedly you should think about the nature of that object, and then you should develop a clear definition, and you should get the clarification. But when the whole object is very dynamic, then you should go for mimamsa or jignasa. And if the object is invisible, then it is called gaveshan, because we don't know where it is, how it is, exactly where it is. Then if the object is known, but it is mixed with many objects. For example, if you ask a boy to come out know, in a room, many objects are spread, and if you ask a boy to come out with only a round shape ones, he will come with certain balls. Then you can say objects. This is called shodha. That means you are segregating. The segregation is possible. Now, keeping these different terms in mind, when we look at Indic method of understanding, we have certain basic principles. In order to take IKS related research forward, we need to be very clear that these basic factors are to be understood and they are to be employed. Number one is pramana. Pramana, the instruments of knowledge that are considered in Indian knowledge system, in order to understand, in order to capture the holistic nature of an object, we cannot be dependent on only pratyaksha. Pratyaksha serves the objective of knowing to some extent. Therefore, we need to add pratyaksha, anumana, and agama, and other pramanas as and when we need them. So, in order to conduct an IKS related activities, research activities, we need to first adopt this pramanas into our research tools. And there is one important method that is used by Nayayikas, Lakshana and Pareeksha method. Whatever we bring as an object in the research, we need to define it very, very clearly. With the clear terms, we need to define it. Without definition, we cannot step forward. Therefore, pramana and pramana, accepting pramanas and defining the objects with clear terms, and Pareeksha of Lakshana. Once this is done, then we can take it forward to the next step, that is Vada. It is not just debate with the rest, debate with the opponent, but we need to create two sides of the whole research, 2 or 3 sides, or we call it vikalpas. Many alternatives may be there. So keeping those alternatives, we need to justify each one of them, and then we need to conduct a sort of debate, or a kind of debate with, in a debate, normally 2 or 3 will sit and debate, but it's a kind of debate within. And once we do that, we will come to certain conclusions. That is called nirnaya. And when we conduct experiments, then we may reach Siddhanta. So, unless and until we conduct clear experiments, we cannot call it that conclusion as Siddhanta. So, what I'm trying to, it is from the West, we have learned so many things. They may be very good, and those tools may be very important ones, but they may not be very much helpful in the context of Indian knowledge systems. Therefore, what we can do is, we have to identify pramanas, then Lakshana and the Pareeksha, and then getting into Vada and Nirnaya, some conclusion, then Pareeksha through Prayoga, then Siddhanta. So in this method, we need to conduct the research. That's the first idea I'm proposing. 2 other important aspects I'm placing here, and then I'll conclude. And in this first edition of these lectures, we have many different aspects are going to be discussed by my fellow scholars. And the whole Indian knowledge system, it has got 2 basic purposes. One is Purushartha in Veshti and Purushartha in Samashti. This is very important. A human being, as an individual, would like to accomplish something which falls into these 4 categories. We all know this. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. This could be at individual level. A person who tries to achieve moksha for himself, and he has to earn dharma for that, and he will certainly use artha for that, and to some extent some kama. Or in a family, in a group, we may want to achieve, as an individual, an entity, for example, a company with hundreds of people, they would like to achieve dharma, artha, kama, moksha, something is a common goal. But in samashti drishti, it may go beyond the self as an individual, beyond the self as a group, beyond the self of a nation, beyond the self of a company. What is that? That is termed as Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa. So Abhyudaya is samashti purushartha. So in Abhyudaya, abhitaha udaya, it's vikasa. Vikasa means development. Holistic development and sustainable development is called Abhyudaya in our Upanishads. So this is not, Abhyudaya is not possible at individual level. It is just dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But if you consider that the same in the beyond the self, then that could be termed as abhyudaya. Dharma, artha, kama together, if it is accomplished for everything, for common good, then it is called abhyudaya. If moksha is achieved at individual level, that is called moksha, mukti, bandha mukti. But it is at the level of universal, at universal level, it's a common moksha, then it is called nishreyasa. That means if I alone achieve moksha, that is for myself. If I try to achieve moksha for everyone, till the last person achieves moksha, then that is called nishreyasa. So the enterprise of Indian knowledge systems had been to accomplish this abhyudaya and nishreyasa, not at individual level, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So if one wants to achieve dharma, artha, kama, moksha at individual level, that could be accomplished, by certain enterprises, by certain efforts. And research is not required for that. A research is needed for a higher goal. That is not just dharma, artha, kama, moksha at individual level. That is abhyudaya and nishreyasa. Keeping that in view, we should initiate IKS research. From the beginning, we need to initiate all the researchers into this. And the second, I think only and only Rashtra that could offer this to the entire world. In a research, normally tarka is required, everyone says. Because through pramana or through yukti, through the logical debates, logical construction of arguments, we will reach good, we will accomplish good research. We will accomplish good results in good good research. But this has limitation. It is not to say that you should believe in God, you should believe in something which is beyond our sensory experiences. No, I'm not saying that. But in certain level, to certain extent, we should have bhava also into that. That is Shraddha and Prajna together. Shraddha and Tarka together go here. And without Tarka, we cannot achieve anything. But without Shraddha also, we cannot achieve anything. So this Shraddha part is also very important factor in, we can debate in a separate way how and why Shraddha is needed for Indic research. What exactly we have difference from the West? East and West dichotomy is just a kalpanika. We need not debate on this. But the West has taught us to see the world or object with a kind of mind that separates. For example, I give this example always. If two eyes see one thing, that is Indian drishti. If one eye sees two things, then that is Western drishti. So how do we see? That's very important. Can we see one? Or if it is one, can we make it two? If we try to make it two, that is the Western training. That Western training makes us one thing to make one thing into two piece. Make it two piece, then try to understand it. Then Indian method, trains our mind to, if there are two, make it one and see. So this is how the difference that we have in our training. So Prithakkaranam is the basic idea of West. Without Prithakkaranam, without separating them, understanding and the distinction of that is called Viveka. This Viveka is taught in India. Therefore, Viveka and Prathakaranam are two different ideas. You know, two ideas can live together and they are not separated, but they are understood distinctly. These two things are totally different. Therefore, keeping these in mind, this drishti in mind, if we start our research in any field involving Indian knowledge, then we will be successful. No field is to be defined. Anything under the sky could be object of the research for Indian knowledge. So we may not, confine ourselves to certain social sciences or certain linguistics or certain, fields that are very much closer to our Shastras. Need not be. We can enter into any words with this drishti and we will accomplish the objective of the Shastra with this methodology. So with these words, I stop here. If any questions, I would be happy to take them. Otherwise, we can move forward to listen to other scholars. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Acharya. So there is only one question. After defining an object, how can we employ Lakshana and Pareeksha?
Yes. Yeah, it is, again, it is a detailed discussion. See, Lakshanas can be, because defining with a clear terms is the beginning of any research. Unless and until I define and I test, I put the Lakshana for test, I don't proceed, because that whole thing will be affected with that Lakshana. For example, how do I see my body? See, my body, if it is Parthiva or it is Panchabhutika, this is, or it is Panchakoshatmaka. Everything is possible. If I look at my body as Parthiva, then I treat it as a Prithvi. If it is Panchabhutika, I go into higher level because all Panchabhutas are involved. And if I think it is Panchakoshatmaka, then it involves energy, it involves my Manas and Atman, everything together. So because same Sharira is one, and it could be defined with different terms, and the testimony, even the testing of that could be done in different level. So we cannot say that something is avyapta. There are Lakshana doshas are there. We need to use Lakshana doshas. Then how to avoid those Lakshana doshas? That is one way of understanding of Lakshana. But definitely people can explore them.
Thank you, Acharya. Even though we are having many questions, I think keeping in mind the time limitations, I would definitely pass on the questions afterwards if we may discuss about them afterwards.